But no, it's good. It's good getting Taco back in the mix here. It's hard to talk to him sometimes because he likes to talk over everyone. And at least he knows that. But
Yep.
um, yeah, I don't know. We can. It's good to see some more activity, some more people, and I think part of it is like number go up and people get interested and they wanna do things. They wanna, participate and figure out ways to work and ways to, get involved, which is always, promising, but it ebbs and flows, and we gotta understand that as a ecosystem, and it ain't over till it's over, right? Um, but obviously, like the big news was that you're stepping back from the council chair position to focus more on Dorkfi, and personally, I commend you. I know you've got a lot going on, and anytime anybody's asked me about it, I always say I don't want to speak for you because it's not my place to. But I understand that we're heads down on Dorkfi, and we only have so much time and effort in a day to move forward. And I'll let you make a couple comments here before we get into things if you want to.
Yep, that's the reason. I don't wanna, like, do voy 24 hours a day, and I think that my time is best spent doing the stuff that I'm doing.
Yeah. No, it's good stuff. And I know you got a lot of stuff going on outside of, you know, blockchain and crypto, and, you're big in the veterans community. So you sit on the board of that, right?
Yeah, it's just a really small, thing locally, but it's like a tribute wall kinda thing,
Sweet.
but we're putting together the framework for a Memorial Day celebration this
Nice.
year,
That's awesome.
which we
Yeah.
do every year, but yeah, it's just something that I kinda do on the side to help.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. I think it's like, you gotta always have something like that going on outside of, your regular work life, and keep things balanced anyways. So
Yep.
makes sense, man. And I know you're not going anywhere from a Voy perspective, and you're just like when I took a step back, I wanted to really kind of focus more on Dorkfi, and the I don't think we would have gotten as far along as quickly without it with me sitting in on the council, and likewise, I think we'll make some more progress even quicker, and with your full focus on our project. So excited about it, and a little bittersweet, but um, anyways, we can move on from that and kind of talk about some of the updates. I'm in contact with Daniel from Airmid. They haven't. It's still kind of the same, situation. He was just at ETH over the last weekend, and so yeah, he was messaging me about getting back on a few things, where they stand, financially, and all that fun stuff. They're not going anywhere, from what I understand. At this stage, they're still here to support the bridge at the moment, and he's aware that there are a few um, transactions that are stuck. So he's working on processing those things, and we'll see how it all shakes out with those guys over the next few months. I know that from a Dorkfi side of things, we are talking with them. I'll just be transparent about it. We're talking with them about um, stepping in and trying to help out in some capacity, and seeing what we might be able to do. So more to come on that in the future. But yeah, for now it's status quo for Airmid, And, it's kind of interesting a comment that you made to me, and I think you made it in the dork chat, or maybe it was just my private DMs, but
Oh shit.
that no, that um, their Discord is not nearly as dead as some of the other
Yeah.
Discords out there, i.e., Tiny Man,
You don't know.
or
Got it until you find other places, you know?
yeah, no, totally, which is interesting because, I mean, they've got, Tiny Man's, obviously a cornerstone of the Algorand ecosystem, and, um, yeah,
The real
it's just
question is how do these places survive without any customer service? It's like, like I got somebody like Rome will post something and I'm like, shit, I gotta get back to him quick. I wanna make sure he feels, like he's valuable here. And then you go other places and you're like, it's a fucking dead zone.
yeah, no, totally, and I think it's, a little bit of a sign of, like, where things are at in terms of just, like, retail interest and involvement, in this space, and it feels like things are starting to, you know, drum up again, especially with all the quantum talk and, the
Yeah,
positioning that Algorand has been in for quite some time now. Their narrative around quantum resiliency and post-quantum, and if I say quantum one more time, the boogeyman's going to show up,
sure.
in my mirror. Biggie Smalls, Biggie Smalls, Biggie Smalls, right? Like that episode of South Park. So at any rate, I know that Scotty's done a little bit of work on something. He's looking into it. I don't know exactly how much work he's done, but he's looking into, seeing how we might be able to adopt some of the quantum resistant frameworks. The Falcon, I honestly, just full transparency, I don't know enough about it to speak intelligently on it, and I probably should know more. I'll just give like my personal take. This isn't a take from our project or our team or the Voyager ecosystem, but my personal take is that there is obviously risk in quantum computing, potentially cracking, um, the cryptography, the SHA-256, code, and that whole layer of the protocol. And so it's something to be considered. The chances of it happening, like, in the near immediate future within the next, 30, 90, 120 days, even 365 days is, somewhat unlikely, very slim chances. However, if you're not aware, Google did recently put out a an article saying that it's coming sooner rather than later, potentially within the next 4 years, and even still, there's a slim chance, but they've moved the chances from very less than 1% up to potentially a 5% chance that it could pose a risk to the space in the future.
Who's gonna
Uh,
get Satoshi's wallet? That's what I want to know.
Right. Yeah, and we had a drunk guy on Scotch's Space last night who was, going off about how all of Satoshi's wallets are, distributed over a lot of different wallets, and I don't think that that has anything to do with it. I think if you crack the code, you crack the code, and you can do whatever you want, with any amount of wallets or any of the funds that are in there, from
Yeah.
my understanding. So it would be a real oh shit moment, but I think really what you know the the idea is here is that there's some level of risk. It may be very small today. It may increase over the next few years. And so it should be something that we're thinking about and considering, moving forward. So at least, on the Algorand side of things, they've got this top of mind, and because we are an AVM chain, we can pretty easily adopt, what they've been working on. So um, I think Scotty has kind of taken the initiative to dig a little bit deeper and try to figure out, what to do. And it's kind of fun, you know, to call him the quantum expert when he's probably, maybe a little more aware of what's going on than the average person, but probably no expert at this point. But I'm still gonna, crown him as the quantum expert, and it sounds like he's digging in there. So at any rate, it is, being talked about quite a bit, and it's a risk that is worth considering and keeping top of mind. But no specific threats at this day and age. So, anyways, not something to ignore, but also not something to panic about at the moment, in my opinion. That's my personal opinion. And yeah, if I say quantum one more time, once again, Beetlejuice is going to show up and scare my dog into barking a lot during this meeting. So at any rate, we'll move on. I know I've been chatting with Zarmian here a little bit about some of the work that he's been doing as well. There haven't been any like major updates on the Voy wallet. That's still maintaining status quo. AVM Studio is also there haven't been any major updates there either. Um, However, there's been a lot more conversation. I know last night we spent quite a bit of time talking about um, how what's the workflow for some of our community members to start to just vibe and lean into the tools that are at their disposal. And what do you want to see on the chain? And a lot of the conversation last night was really about games that could potentially be vibed up. And I know this is kind of revisiting some things that we talked about prior to House of Void even going live, having some sort of vibe up a front end of a game hackathon, and get the back end taken care of. But that I want to continue to encourage people to go use the tools, go vibe up a game that you want to see, and then try to use AVM Studio to vibe up a contract to connect to the game. There are there's an opportunity there to take advantage of the tools that are in existence, and I'd hope to see some more people like Nuss, um, and Taco getting their ideas into some action, and then we can talk about them, promote them, and kind of move forward that way. So um, yeah, the Lucky 7 dice game is pretty cool, and if we could get that connected to a smart contract and out there in the wild, I think it'd be fun to see. And obviously, like I was saying last night, we gotta set our expectations low and just have fun with things and see where it goes.
That like the lowered expectations, Mad TV skit back in the day?
Yeah, is that one of those Stewart skits? I don't know if
Lowered expectations is that it was like they're joking kind of like dating site
oh
where
boy,
like where everybody you meet is like super mid and you're happy with what you get.
I can only imagine.
I'll find you the link.
Oh man, yeah, I gotta see that. Mad TV is, quite was is quite a throwback. They had some, like, super talented people on that show too.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, Bobby Lee and what was the guy who did Stewart? That's the one that sticks out to me the most. Stewart!
Yeah.
But, I always had loved Mad Magazine as a kid growing up too. I wonder if it's still in production. Probably is. I just haven't seen it in a long time. Spy vs. Spy. Be fun, to revisit some of that stuff. But, yeah, at any rate, I think, we should be, pointing people in the right direction to, start to once again use the tools. Feel like I'm a broken record here, with the things that I'm saying. I'm saying use the tools and quantum, and I can't wait to hear the transcript of this meeting, and it's just gonna, you know, heavy emphasis on quantum and using tools and vibing. But anyways, there's still an opportunity for for somebody to spin up a competitive slot machine, and beat House of Void to market if they really wanted to, because House of Void is still in production, um, and still being worked on, from my understanding. Um, so yeah, if anybody in the audience wants to create a competitor that can go to market faster, do it, right? Sorry, I just throwing it out there. Um, having fun with this meeting so far.
Great.
But yeah,
Off
what's that?
Totally off script, off the rails.
Yeah, off the rails. That's right. Well, we got to sometimes, it's fun when number goes up, and we can stop being so Debbie Downer. Um, but I don't know about Void Press. I haven't looked at it. It's probably still down. Um, we're
It's
having a
up
good
slightly.
time here this morning. I've had enough coffee to feel alive and awake. Um, Unlike the 6 a.m. builders meeting, which I think we should lobby for a different time, just because it seems like nobody attends it anymore anyway. Um, so yeah, maybe we can change that up. Um, okay, let's jump to the our project, the Dorkfy update, and kind of give a little bit of a rundown on that. I'll just start by saying we've got an intern on Twitter or X or whatever.
Yep.
This is a an agent that
Unpaid.
an unpaid agent, although yeah, um, they are out there, mostly at this stage monitoring activity, and kind of think of it as like a algo scout style, but for dorkfi. um, I think it's monitoring both sides. Algorand and Voy, we're using the MCP that Shelly's put together, the Ulu OS, and then also it's plugged into the Go plausible as well on the Algo side too, even though we don't really need it because we have both sides in Ulu OS. Um, Feel free to engage and interact with it. It is not as active as say Panda was, but it will engage, and we're gonna spend some time to help it mature over time, and add some functionality when needed, and also there's a little bit of a personality there right now, not super heavy at the moment, but it will learn over time, and we're working on it. There's also the Dorfi intern
We should have
that
it tell. people that it can't respond to them too much because it's not getting paid to just sit around and chat with them. You know, like it's
Yes. Yeah. We can give it those responses for sure. I think that's, yeah, that's a good that is it's not a part of his job
yeah,
description. It's not
it's
on
like
his JD, you know?
hit me up when I actually get a salary.
Yeah. Honestly, we should lean into that. I love that idea. Um, yeah, that's something we can definitely put out there. We have made some additional, moves in terms of markets, and I think that there has been, some activity, at least in TVL, that's been attracted to the platform. I believe there's been some more deposits that have been made on, even on the voice side of things. I thought we may have reached a cap, but I think some people had maybe repaid their loans, and the cap has programmatically opened up for at least deposits. You still can't. I think we're maxed out on borrows, at least specifically for Voy. Um, but there's a little bit of room in the cap for people to deposit there, and use it as collateral. So yeah, what else am I missing? We've done a lot of stuff, and
We
it
started talking about a bunch of things. I have no clue what they are. I am a dork fight expert, but not about markets with letters that don't start with A or B. So I'm learning as we go.
yeah, there may potentially be C markets in the near future. Yeah, we kicking around some ideas here, to I don't want to give away too much, just because we're non-committal at this point to it. But there may be, maybe some opportunities here for a C market. Ideating, working on it. It's fun. And looking at how can we be more competitive in terms of, our markets and where utilizations are. Right now, having a real hard look on that front. Um, we've been also focused on, the security side of things, and that's always been, top of mind for us. Front of school bus, if you will.
Yeah.
Um, so it's always something that we're continuing to focus on, and will be in the near future, as we continue to grow and expand into other ecosystems, and also continue to support and grow this ecosystem. Um, you guys know where to find us. Feel free to join the Discord, all that fun stuff if you're watching. Let's move on to open discussions. Algovoy, the microservices grant that Chris Nugget has kind of put forth. It looks like he's been putting out a whole bunch and doing a whole bunch of work, putting out a whole bunch of updates to the wallet that he's been working on. So it's not really like it's almost a like partially a retroactive microservices grant in some ways too. Some of the stuff that he listed in that proposal are things that he's actively working and pushing out. I think, from my end, it's a low amount that he's requesting. And just as I see things, like, he's interested, he's motivated, to continue to develop, and we should maybe support that. And it does kind of lean into the strategic positioning policy framework. It fits into that, what I put out there. He's a one-man team that is, vibing, uh, an agentic wallet and bridge. So, which is all positive, and I think, we shouldn't shy away from, supporting him. There, we might want to have, some requests for him to make some adjustments to that proposal before funding, but I'll leave that to the council, to decide what they like and don't like about it. Um, the uh, where am I? Where's my head at with this? How do you feel about it? What did you think about the conversation last week?
The proposal?
Yeah, where we had him come up and
Yeah.
he-
I mean, yeah, I think it's good to get people, involved in the ecosystem and just kind of keep them around by by making sure that they know that they're appreciated. Um, I think I said last week maybe that I struggle with the concept of like incentivizing another wallet when, the real key is like how do we get additional persons showing up. And I don't know that another wallet's going to do that. But at the same time, we could always like have a recommendation that the reward is in some lock tokens and some other stuff, like that the outcome is not downward selling pressure in the short term or immediate future.
Mhm.
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, I think that makes sense to me. The other thing, some of the pushback that I've heard is that it may be, premature in the fund on the funding side of things because it's not like fully baked yet. Um, and then, the other piece that's kind of been a little bit of pushback is that. That it's not, like, fully integrated with all the applications, at the moment. So, those are maybe some requirements that you might wanna think about. I'm looking at Nuss down there as a, sitting council member.
Yeah.
Uh, make it so that it's, required that he, at minimum, reaches out to each of the existing projects and looks to integrate with those projects, whether it's through some sort of DM partnership conversations or through actual PRs, to push the integration. And I think probably more productive would be just to go ahead and submit PRs to be added, as a wallet, that's supported on those projects, rather than wasting some time trying to set up meetings with people. Just go in and then submit it and have the developers for each of those projects review and see if they'll accept the change. So, anyways, that would maybe be my only recommendation there. Um, I do think it's strong, uh, and a good signal that at least we've got, somebody who's interested in developing and getting, some funding. It's one of the only, I'd say, one of the only legitimate, proposals we've had in a couple months at least, that's requesting funding, that's actually building, that is actively engaging with us. And it, based on my diligence, it seems like he's legit. I know he had the one, you know incident, I guess, if you will, with the release of a whole bunch of tokens and that whole thing. But he did address that in the last meeting that we had. So, and I think that's been recorded. But anyways, um, let's jump ahead to the strategic positioning policy proposal. Please, guys, make some comments, do something about it. It was a kind of a first draft. We've had lots of conversations about it over the last I submitted this over a month ago now, I think, or about a month ago at least. And I think we need to lean in and set up some sort of framework. I'll harp on it again. Prior to, I'll just say at the beginning, from the start of mainnet and beyond, like there hasn't been a real strong narrative around why Voy. It's always been a big, question mark for a lot of developers and a lot of people. And from my experience personally, sitting on the council, there was no real like firm direction that we could be taking, to kind of exchange and, or I'm sorry, to try to engage with a narrow set of people and kind of build around that narrative. And so this, strategic positioning policy is an attempt to narrow our focus from, the community-driven chain that can do anything and, doesn't uh, doesn't necessarily have a focus, to something that has a focus, which is helping to support, smaller teams and also focusing on the use of or building out tools and accessibility for agents to be able to come in and start to engage in the platform. Uh, and then it outlines a framework for, how we want to think about, spending the budget and funding moving forward. In my opinion, long overdue to have some, focus. And this is kind of, my idea. That is, I'm not alone in coming up with it. This is something that um, isn't just coming out of nowhere. It's you know been discussed prior to me submitting this as well. So anyway, please provide some feedback if you can. And we've had some healthy discussions, but we got to do something about it, and set it to vote or kick it back. I know that there was some um, interest in getting the opinions of block authority before it went to vote. I know Scotchgate was talking about that. Um, so I would recommend that the council go and chat with those guys, get their honest opinions about it, and then see what they think. But at any rate, definitely need to update the website at minimum and do all those other things. But this is like kind of a directional package. Um,
Yeah.
cool. Well, that's that. Um, a hackathon. Did it get passed? Is it still a thing? Is it happening? I don't know. We've
I'm
been
not,
doing this dance about it for a long time, and I think Fury's probably going to be in my DMs saying, "Do we have a date yet?"
yeah,
And
there is. Even if it was passed, the date is just like this open-ended concept, right?
it's forever. Yeah, and that's something that's in my strategic positioning policy, is like, how can we do like, just rapid iterations of hackathons, right? And just like kind of keep it open-ended. And hey, what I'd love to see happen is, there was this proposal to do a hackathon previously, way back, probably about a year ago now, that actually Shelley had come up with, which was, essentially vibing front end games, and seeing who has the best game and awarding those people. Um, so if we could, quickly do something like that, I think that there's enough interest and knowledge from the people who are in the ecosystem to, spin up some legitimate games that people might be interested in spending Voya on. I know Taco's gung ho about his King of the Hill game. I know Nuss is working on the roll the dice game. Mm, I've got something that I've been kind of working on in my free time as well. That's just a vibe. But at any rate, it'd be nice to kind of see something happen here. Social media stats. How are we doing, guys?
Uh,
I haven't seen anything come out of the the Voy account in a long time, but
uh,
maybe it's something that could be automated as well. You know, there's
well,
just some costs that are associated with it, but you know,
analytics down. Uh, I'm trying to find the daily stuff.
do we have
Likes
anybody in the
likes zero,
ecosystem?
repost zero, replies zero, bookmark zero.
Yeah. Do we have anybody in the ecosystem that will just like be the unpaid intern that has would like to you know put uh, marketing manager on their resume even though that they're not paid, but that's what they get out of it is like you can put this on your resume, you can get experience, you know m- yeah, I don't know, maybe we can get some interns. We are about to enter into the summer months where college students are looking for things to do. So anyway, maybe that's an idea. Just get a job app going, and then post it. Go join some blockchain um, uh, university blockchain groups or clubs,
Just
and
trend over to the Koreans and get a bunch of the North Koreans and get a bunch of like impressions like immediately.
yeah. Well,
Not for the
we'll
right
see.
reason.
Anyway, Um, God damn it. Node rewards. Has anybody done anything about that? This has just been like sit on our thumb for, you know, 2 years bullshit, and it needs to get addressed and taken care of.
The relay rewards.
Yeah, I don't know what to do about it. It's not my gig, but it's there, and people want them, and needs to get done. Anyway, Fury is typing.
Oh, good.
He's typing furiously.
Type it. Yes, that's what I was gonna say.
Let's average the peers for the relays and pay them. Okay, that sounds good. How do do you have the numbers? Can you just do that? Can we do it? I want to get it done. Needs to be done and not talked about again. He's typing again. He's got the past data. Take a swing at it. Yes, that'd be fantastic. Just make a quick sheet and then send in a token request. I think that'd be very helpful. Awesome. Thank you, Fury. I appreciate you.
Bad news.
Um,
Solving the world's problems right here. Regulate.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, what else we got? Anybody else in the audience want to, come up, talk about anything, or, you know, have anything else they want to address during this meeting? If not, we'll call it right at 10.
Oof.
No,
That's it, I guess.
that's it. That's all. Until next week.
All right.
All right. I think the action items, I'll just run through it and not type them out because it's a recorded space, and we'll address them next week. No, Fury's going to address, submitting a token request for the node rewards. Um, we are going to maybe approach some blockchain university clubs and see if anybody's interested in an unpaid internship to run the social media account. Um, hackathon, vibe coding hackathon for AVM Studio and games. Uh, let's just do it. Let's do it over a weekend. Let's say the first weekend of May, and call it that. We're gonna do it, guys. We're gonna make that happen. Um, and then yeah, go for those in the audience or those watching or listening. Go make some comments on yes, lock the date in the first weekend of May. Let's say it is that gives a month. What's the first weekend of May? Where's my calendar? Friday the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And what I'll do is I will get from Shelly his he had a whole kind of guideline sheet. It might need some updating at this point, but there's a specific framework for it. So let's just say the first weekend of May, starting the 1st, ending on the 3rd. We can promote it, and yeah, the pot might not be as large as you know a lot of wad, but we'll figure that out in the meantime. Um, and then yeah, the last things that are to dos. Sounds good. He'll DM tomorrow. Perfect. The to dos for us or for you guys down there is to go review the Algo Boy microservices grant and the strategic positioning policy. I'm looking at you, Johnny Bear. I know that you like to come up with some good objections. So go be the go be the bear and yeah, flex your claws. Um, love to see them. We'll take them into consideration. Yeah, there it is. We know who you are. So, anyways, we'll move on, and you guys have a good day. Appreciate it. Catch y'all later.
See ya.
End meeting for all.